Hey, did Death Row ever show any interest in you guys? But you guys already had like 3 albums out before Death Row even was established. 3 or 4 albums
We
out, right?
had what?
Four.
I think we was working on. No, we was working on actually. We was working on. Was it Music to Drive By? We were working on Music to Drive By when Death Row formed because Suge put Unknown on the payroll as a producer.
Mm-hmm.
That's when they had the. That's when they was with the GF shit too, because they had coats. I remember Unknown came to the studio. They had the black leather coats with the hooks on them, with the turquoise patches on the back. It said Death Row. That's when Death Row first formed. So we was already 3 albums in, and Unknown was dealing with Suge as far as production because he was trying to work on on our Music to Drive By record, but he was also supposed to be doing beats for Suge and them for the Convicts when they were over there because they were supposed to be the first group, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And Unknown got into a little confrontation with Suge because he didn't turn beats in on time, so that didn't work out pretty good. So, but I never had any issues with Suge. Everything was good. Yeah.
Because he was looking for artists at that time. Did he ever consider you guys?
No, because we were already signed to Sony.
Did that matter in some other?
Yeah, I mean, we were signed to Epic Sony. Our contract was straight with them, so it wasn't a situation to where we were signed to an independent and something to where you can walk up on some nigga from the neighborhood and be like, hey, you gonna let CM Dub out their contract or whatever.
Yeah, you didn't have no Jerry Heller contract.
Yeah, we was straight signed to Sony. So you wasn't finna walk up to Dave Glue's office and do no shit like that. So
Now, how hard was it back then to get signed to a major label like that? Because it didn't seem too common. Like
it wasn't. In our days of rapping, it was the like it is now, which is crazy because now it's the world of independent labels. When we first started, it was the world of independents. Techno Hop, Lonzo with Crew Cut, LA Dream Team had a label. Egypt had Egyptian Empire. Ruthless was started. It was nothing but independent labels. So it wasn't heard of for niggas to get major label deals. Major label deals was Run DMC. You get me? LL Cool J with Def Jam. I mean, Beastie Boys. Those were major labels. Because even niggas like Eric B. and Rakim and EPMD and them cats, they were on independent record labels. I mean, so we just happened to Unknown, who used to worm his way through Hollywood, for some reason, he had a hookup with Orpheus Records, which was a independent but had major distribution through Capitol Records. So he knew the guy who basically who owned Orpheus Records. Orpheus Records was the home of Melba Moore. Okay. So her husband, Charles Huggins, owned Orpheus Records. So somehow Unknown knew the dude who worked for Orpheus. We had a maxi single out. This is Compton, Give It Up, I Give Up Nothing. They took that up to Orpheus. They heard it, and because the street buzz on gangster niggas in the streets was going, because Easy was cracking, NWA was cracking, King T was cracking, Ice T was cracking, so they were one of them motherfuckers. Oh, we gotta get us one of them. Real talk. We got to get us one of them. So we got signed to Orpheus Records, which had a deal with Capitol. And that's how we got our major label deal. I'm on a plane 3 months later, nigga. My first nigga on a plane to New York and walking around Manhattan and shit like, nigga, we was neighborhood niggas.
That shit is crazy.
We tore up the motherfucking room like it wasn't shit, nigga. We some neighborhood niggas throwing motherfucking chicken out the window and shit off the 35th floor and shit. We didn't know how to act. We was some niggas from Compton. We didn't give a
Now, out there on the road, how many, I know everybody got their ass whooped out there. How many niggas y'all had to, I mean, 'cause it's always somebody.
Let me
that
tell you
get their ass
something. On the real, in my 20 years or 30 years of touring, we never had a confrontation with probably one in Tucson. And that's when we was banged out to the fullest, you know, and Tucson was full of bloods. And when I say that was probably everybody in that motherfucker. It was about a theater that held about 3,000 people. Every motherfucker in there had on red bandanas. I kid you not.
Did y'all perform?
Oh, they loved us performing. But when it was time to get up out of there, it was a couple of shots went off. We had to, because, I mean, niggas let us perform. That's the crazy shit. We performed through the show. Everything was gravy. But when it was time to leave that motherfucker, man. But other than that, man, we done traveled the country, overseas. That was our only incident. I've never gotten into it with motherfuckers. Usually I go to a nigga town. I don't give a fuck if it's Crip or Blood affiliated. I go to a nigga's neighborhood and hang with them. That's how we get motherfucking cool with niggas.
Right.
Because back then you had to do in-stores and promo tours and go to record stores and sign autographs. And sometimes you just happen to pull up somewhere where niggas is banging. And nigga, they want to be Bloods. They want to be Crips.
Most of the time, they're showing you that respect, though, right?
Most of the time, yeah. Niggas come in, they ask you for autographs. You go out in the back, smoke a joint with them. They like, this is our hood. You know, we cool with it. And then from there, it's just a respect thing. So we tried not to, I don't know how you want to put it. We try not to go mother places and agitate mother.
Y'all totally different from Death Row, boy.
My thing is, look, we got to come out here. We got to make some money, and we got to get the fuck up out of here. Right. We ain't nowhere near Compton. So let's get through this motherfucker. Nobody go to jail. Nobody end up in the hospital. And we on a plane the next morning. Right. So let's go do the show. Niggas smoke they weed, meet a couple of fans, and then niggas will tell you, nigga, I'm on your door at 6 o'clock in the morning. Let's get the fuck up out of here.
Right.
We don't, you know, that's my thing. Don't act like you don't know what the going on. Now, we always had that, you know, we from Compton. Compton is the greatest motherfucking place on earth.
Scared just because of
you
that.
Get me? Compton is the greatest place. And then when you talk about banging, nigga, we don't give a f. We pull up in your motherfucking town, get out, nigga, and it's only 5 of us. And we whoop every motherfucker in here. We don't give a f. That's our feeling. But my thing was, we on some professional shit. You get me? We got these motherfucking white executives out here. You got the road managers out here. These motherfuckers are scared, man. So you can't get into situations that these other motherfuckers can't handle. And then you don't want to go home, and next thing you know, a motherfucker dropping you from the label because every time you go somewhere, you beating on motherfuckers or getting in the shootouts and shit like that. Now that's giving us a bad name. Now we all in the news, and then back then it's all about gangster rap is bad, and there's bitches, and it's all this type of shit. So I didn't want to bring no motherfucking drama to that because we was already getting a hard time just trying to be who we were as artists. You get me? I'm not trying to be a motherfucker that think I'm better than the niggas in Chicago or New York or Texas or wherever, but nigga, we hard. Nigga, we hard. We gang bang.
If I lie, my nose will grow like Pinocchio. We gon' tell you the truth and nothing but the truth. Gangsta chronic.